So welcome everybody. We are at the audit committee meeting. This month we have Eddie Diana, Mike Gatos with us. Jim DeSalvo, who's the chair, will be joining us shortly, but I've had a conversation with him. So we're going to get started because we only have a half an hour. So we're just going to get started first, and then Jim will join us as soon as he's able. There are only two items on the agenda. So first is Merlin Entertainment is coming before us today later in the meeting to extend their pilot, actually kind of just shift their pilot from where it is now to 1 year as a result of the pandemic, because the construction shut down. They've had obviously not been able to open in 2020 as they expected, so they're going to be requesting that extension later. But that being said, we were also contacted by Loki Brill recently saying that there were some document issues that had come to light, and because of the pandemic and the shutdown, I think Loki Brill was really patient and understanding, but just while we were in the middle of starting up the construction again and entertaining this request, we wanted to be sure that we got that matter closed. So Stephanie from Merlin has been in contact with Kevin Loki. They have provided most of the documents that are necessary for them to be back into compliance. Again, these are insurance documents and certificates, not a local labor issue, but it's a documentation issue. So they've provided a number of those documents with a few still outstanding, and they're committed to providing all of the documents by the end of June. And we'll work with them to ensure that everything is received by certainly the end of June, beginning of July, and we'll report back next month to let everybody know that they're in compliance. Again, on Loki Brill's report, which actually I don't think, because we called this meeting late, I don't think that we actually got to send it out, but Merlin technically right now is at a 59% compliance rate. And that's only because I'm not concerned by that, just to let everybody know. It's a matter right now of, again, our compliance is a sliding scale. So it could be 0 now and 100% later, and it will ultimately work out. They're well aware of the requirements. They've been very cooperative. So I don't have any concerns that they're not going to meet it. And again, they have a PLA, right, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, they have a PLA. So I know that the trades are watching as well. So we'll make sure that we keep that in track. But everything is on track. They're starting their construction up again. And then they will be anticipating their opening in now 2021 instead of 2020 as they had initially expected. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, sorry. Kelly did actually send something right before the committee started.
Oh, okay.
For the updates on the report. So I'm assuming, Kelly, that the Legoland thing was included?
Well, it's Loki Brill's report, but it's on page 7 of the 9 pages that I sent.
Thank you.
The Merlin 59%.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Kelly. I didn't.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. So do Mike or Eddie, do you have either of you have any questions?
No, I can talk with Loki Brill. If there's anything he needs, I can help facilitate through the building trades. We will.
Okay.
We'll do whatever we can do.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And I guess I know that Jim's not here yet, but I'll start with Rectify. So that being said, if you'll recall, back before the shutdown, back when we could still meet in person, we had a compliance issue with Craftify and a sheetrocker. And at that point, there was a request submitted for a waiver for that company because they were, non-local, and that request was denied. So, JB Insulation ended up being at a 63% compliance rate rather than 85 or above. So that being said, our policy and procedure has been that if there is a compliance issue, we charge a penalty for that. And you'll recall we recently extended their sales tax exemption and continued their pilot for Craftify, but this matter was still outstanding. So I'm going to share my screen with you. If you give me just one moment to share the potential worksheet. So everybody can see my Excel spreadsheet, I presume. So the policy penalty equation is on this. So the value of that contract was $12.85 or $12,850, excuse me. We're supposed to be at 85% of local labor. So we took that contract and multiplied it by what they actually were at in local labor, which was 63%. And then the difference between those two amounts is $827. So our fee, again, if you'll recall, is a sliding scale. It can be anywhere from, we can divide that 2827 by 1, so essentially by nothing. If they made no effort to come into compliance, or if more than one contractor was out of compliance, you can see it on your screen there. 2, if they're, and I'll make this a little bit bigger. 2, if it's a, if the effort wasn't made, but there was only 1 out of compliance, and then if they were cooperative, if they put in a little effort, and then 5, we would divide it by 5 if there was significant effort made to come into compliance. With this one in particular, I have it set as a 2 for now, but this is a committee decision. I say it was a 2 because it was the only one of their contractors out of compliance. They have 100. The only one that's not at 100 is at 88% besides this one. So they've done a really nice job of being in compliance elsewhere on the project. But we have had a few issues before. They have come to the audit committee with compliance issues before, not the least of which being failure to get documents to us in time. So all of those things contribute to this penalty if you decide to charge it. But I'll put that out there. I'll stop talking and see if you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, thoughts.
Lori, is the project done?
I believe so, Kelly. Yes, right?
Yeah, I think he was just waiting for a CO, I think.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Jim. Jim's with us now. You're on mute, but did you get all that good stuff, Jim? I don't know if you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Unmute.
There you go.
What good stuff?
We were the walkthrough of the policy penalty. I don't know when you joined. I didn't see the moment you joined.
I just popped in now.
Okay. So as a review, just for your benefit, we're talking about the Craftify project in,
Yep.
You know where that is, and the out of compliance issue with this JB insulation, which
Yep.
was that sheetrocking guy. So we're talking now about whether or not you guys want to charge a penalty for that, which we have done in the past. On your screen right now in front of you, you can see our policy penalty spreadsheet, and it comes out to the fee would be this 2827 number, and then you have the option of dividing it based on their level of cooperation. I have it set now to a 2 because they'd started work before they requested the waiver, which means I believe they made no effort to come into compliance, but it is the only contractor who's out of compliance at this point or throughout this project. So, but they did have other issues, documentation issues,
Yeah.
cooperation issues. So now I've just turned it back over to you guys for questions, discussion, conversation. What you guys can direct me.
I would say we've hashed this out quite a bit. I think the penalty is fair.
The 14th.
More than fair.
Yeah, we talked last time, and I think we even adjusted our thoughts on it. So I think it's definitely more than fair, like Jim said.
I agree.
Okay. So everybody's comfortable with 1413, the dividing it by 2 because it's just the one company out of compliance? Okay.
Agree.
Okay.
Agree.
Okay.
All right, then we'll put something together. We'll send it out to him. We'll report back. Then, and Vinny had also, or Kevin had asked the question if they were finished with the work. They are finished with the work now. Kelly had let us know that they're waiting on the CO, which means that Loki Brill will issue the closeout report, and we'll post that online. So,
Yeah, Lori, Joe had written that they owe us money on the reviews, though, right?
yeah, I think so. Actually, Joel, did you want to speak to that?
Sure. So they originally gave us a deposit of $5,000 for the labor escrow. And then they gave us an additional $2,000 not that long ago. Because the projects continue to proceed, they're short again. So they have, there's a closeout cost that Loki Brill will charge. So my recommendation is that once we get the final bill from Loki Brill, we can then charge Craftify for the balance of what they owe us.
Joel, do we have any idea what that number looks like?
Yeah, right now they're short $550. And I believe the closeout cost is approximately, someone if correct me, I think it's about $500 or 400 and change closeout. So assuming there's not a normal site visit in June, they're probably $1,000.
Any other questions? No?
Book it.
All right. Consider it done. That was fast. Yeah, we don't have anything else on the audit committee agenda, so I guess you guys can adjourn this and then we'll meet back again in 15 minutes for Accelerator, those of you who are on that committee, and otherwise you can have your lunch now, I guess.
All right, Lori.
All right, everybody.
Lori, can I get you and Vinny for a second?
Sure. Yep.
You want to stay on this or you want me to, how do you want to do it?
Nope. Dean's going to take us off of live, but I'm going to pause my recording or stop my video and mute, and I'll just give you a call and I'll loop the three of us in.
Perfect.
Laura, can you keep me on for a second with you?